What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Tristan. Most of you know me as Taze. Welcome back to another episode of the Ambition Podcast. And today we got a little bit something special for you guys. Instead of doing a one-on-one, we actually got a group conversation here today with the boys, Castaway and Upmind. Say what's up, guys.
Oh, what's up? It's your boy Castaway.
What's up? It's Upmind. How you guys doing?
But yeah, guys, so, obviously, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to whatever channel this is on. Leave a like and share it with all your friends. I'm trying to get it on Spotify. Might put it on SoundCloud just because SoundCloud's a little easier to deal with as well. But yeah, so Castaway, Upmind, you guys want to give the viewers a little bit of a background as to, like, who you guys are and everything, and, kind of talk about where you guys are in esports.
I'll let Upmind go first.
Yeah. I come from New England. I started getting into esports about, I think it was like 4 years ago. Initially just playing FIFA 14. And from there, it just kind of skyrocketed. At the moment, I'm an esports commentator. I commentate Super Smash Brothers, CSGO, Overwatch, Rocket League, really any esport under the sun other than League of Legends, and I'm also the CEO of the esports organization Sinai Village.
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead, Castaway.
Making me seem like I'm a nobody.
No, bro.
No, man, no.
So, basically, I'm Castaway, which my real name's Jonathan. I'm originally from Florida, but moved to Tennessee recently. Got into esports a little bit around 2015, but I didn't really actually start fully getting into it until recently, which right now I'm one of the streamers at Awaken, which is an amazing team, by the way.
Yeah.
I stream anything from Forza Horizon 4 all the way up to Dead by Daylight, BO4, you name it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I just hit affiliate for Twitch like August.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm currently working on trying to get the Awaken Twitch to partner. And I think once I do that, like, personally myself, I will be happy. And probably will be able to go back to, like, streaming on YouTube. Like, that was one of the things for me that I find, like, and I'm okay publicly with saying this, but, like, in the Twitch agreements or whatever, they state, like, you can't stream at the same time on a different platform. And I don't know if this is a loophole, but what I would do is I would stream on my personal channel and then stream on the Awaken Twitch. But I tend to keep my channel and its brand separate from what goes on with Awaken. So I think that's a loophole in a way.
I think that's a little bit of a loophole.
Because it's like, I can be like, well, I represent this organization, however, I also have my own streaming obligations.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't stream on YouTube as much anymore, though, because, like, I try to keep it family-friendly and everything, so I wouldn't get demonetized, but Logan Paul had to come in and screw that up. Literally, I remember there was one time I was streaming and someone's like, is this a family-friendly chat? And I'm like, yeah, this is family-friendly. And, like, Nathaniel was in the chat as well. And he tells me, look at the screen, because I was looking at the monitor to my right at the time. And it's just all people spamming the hard R. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
like, I immediately ended the stream and I went and apologized. And someone's like, you shouldn't have apologized. I was like, yeah, I will. Like,
But like, what are you gonna do at that point, right? You're just stuck in a
I'm like,
corner.
well, he banned them, but, like, my moral compass is like that ruins the experience for others, because I'm like, if you go back and I'm pretty sure if someone were to go back and look at it, unless YouTube remove when you like ban someone from a stream, they removed the chat comment, but like that was my first thought. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, but as far as it goes, obviously there's a lot of franchising going on in Call of Duty and other games, and I want to get both your guys' thoughts, like, because Upmind, I think you and I have the same perspective on franchising, depending on the game. Considering that, like, Call of Duty is going to die because of franchising, and then, like, League of Legends, from what I've heard, is, like, they're not dying, but they're, like, not successful at all. And then Overwatch, like, Overwatch has just been a disaster from the beginning, and you know why I say that, like, because of, like, because what happened to us 2 years ago, and I always hate bringing it up, because it, like, is one of the worst moments I've ever had to deal with. That, for me, was, like, I knew Overwatch was going to fail.
Overwatch used to be a good game, but...
it did.
Nah.
Yeah. Like,
so...
a couple year games in the
so we're talking about franchising at the moment, and different games have different strategies in terms of, you know, franchising. I think Overwatch, the system that they have right now, doesn't appeal to, like, core esports audiences like us, honestly. Yeah. So that's why you could honestly make the claim that, like, it's not doing so well.
Yeah.
But you have to look at it from a mainstream point of view.
Yeah.
They're actually pulling, like, real TV ratings right now on channels, like, national channels, like ABC. They're on Disney. I mean, so they're still pulling viewers. They're still getting a lot of merch sales. You know what I mean? That's their main goal. Their main goal isn't to appeal to us. Their main goal is to just
to get the other 99% of the world involved.
Right, and
at their last league event, they actually had quite a bit of people show up. So,
like, I don't doubt that what they're doing. And sorry to cut you off. I don't doubt what they're doing is working, but I doubt, and I always have some. I wouldn't say bias, but I always had this concern that if things aren't being done, like, a certain way, then it's not going to work. And like, I applauded when E-League happened with Turner and IMG. Like, I applauded that because I was like, this is awesome. Like, people actually could go to the arena and blah, 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 and do it. And it was something cool. And then, like, Overwatch, like, I like what they've done with the regional names. Like, I've trashed the idea of regional names for, like, semi-pro orgs because it limits you. But, like, when you look at some orgs like MV, Optic, I mean, maybe some other ones out there, Atlanta Reign has done probably a really good job at this as well. They've been able to take their core their fan base from other games and get them into Overwatch, right? Where, like, Optic and the Outlaws, they had, like, I know they won, like, a Tempest Award for, like, best fan experience or something like that because of all the block parties, all the interaction stuff that they were doing. But that's because, like, they were able to also take that fan base from Optic and somewhat turn it into Outlaws fans. Like, and I know that's something Hitch has touched on, like, the culture that they wanted to build, where it's like, we could pick up a Rocket League team and then, you know, we can make them, you know, like, loved by people who watch content. And that's definitely not going to happen, given the video that went out yesterday on the Optic channel. Like, I understand why they uploaded that. The timing, though, I think that is.
Right.
I think that is actually one of the most disliked videos on the Optic channel because when I looked this morning, it had 1.5k likes and 1.2k dislikes.
Okay.
Like,
Wow.
do you know which video I'm talking about, or?
No.
They did a riding with a Nissan video with Krim and Seth, but Krim got like he got dropped by the players like a couple days ago.
Right.
And like I woke up and I saw this and I was like, this is bad.
That's bad.
I'm like,
That's pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I actually am looking on YouTube to see what the like to dislike ratio is. I okay, the Optic channel mostly gets like now since Anaheim's over, they get like mostly like 4 to 10k views. This video in 3 days got 41,000 views. It's at 1.6k dislikes to 1.3k.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah.
Like, oh, that video bombed badly.
I feel so bad for Optic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess because like there are just so many situations just like kind of exploding at the same time for Optics. So, I mean, you would kind of expect that, right? You would kind of expect that sort of like hate coming back and like I don't know that video, man. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Holy, like you can't upload something like that.
No, like you
Not
just
at the
can't.
moment. I know it's promotional. I know that there are sponsors watching. I know that's content you've already made, but like. You gotta scrap it. There's just a lot of content that you can scrap and be completely fine with, man.
Like had they uploaded that the week after Champs, that would have been a better time.
Right, of course.
But like to wake up and see that in your like timeline on Twitter and then in my sub box, I'm like, oh God. I was like,
first time ever.
Like, I had doubts of who was running the Optic Twitter, but then I was like, I have doubts now of who's uploading the videos.
Right.
Like, I also think it was, I think that the last 2 years for Optic, like, from someone who got into gaming and esports because of Optic, it, like, drains my soul every time.
Right.
Like, for the first time in months, I actually left the Optic Discord.
Wow.
Jeez.
Like, and I've been in there for a while. I think the only other time I left was when someone told me, and I won't name who, but someone told me how much Hex put up for Optic, supposedly, and I said it in the Discord, and, like, nobody believed me. And everyone was, like, going at my throat.
Right, yeah.
Which, like, the rumored number I heard, and I don't think this would shock anyone, was 95 mil. I don't know if that was, like, cash 95 mil or whatever, but, you know, it definitely, I actually had a heart attack at the time that person said it to me. I was like, what? But no, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Optic.
For sure.
I do want Cole, and like, I know I've made videos on Call of Duty franchise and why I think it will fail. I'm making those videos not to be negative. I'm making those videos because it's coming from a person who's played this game for this franchise for 13 years, and also has some, you know, again, like, insight from running a league for a short amount of time, and like other, you know, things like, you know, with Spark and Awaken. But I truly think that the path that they've taken where it's like, oh, you can't use your, like, had they said, like, okay, we're not going to go Overwatch based and say that you can't use your brand that you've already built, I think is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why Activision does it, because they don't want the team to be bigger, but that's what Call of Duty always was. Like, you had Optic and FaZe, and then, you know, you had Envy, Complexity for a little bit in the conversation of a legacy brand, but then, like, you know, you still had your brands that would carry Call of Duty on its back as well, like LG. I wouldn't say Heretics. Like, Heretics has done a good job of helping support the pyramid or like the structure, but
The pyramid.
yeah, but you know, like when like Call of Duty comes to mind for me, and someone asks like, what teams would you consider carrying? Optic, Envy, FaZe. I mean, Splice maybe. Gen G definitely is in the conversation for me. Like, or at least they were before they parted ways. With Call of Duty, and then 100 Thieves definitely proved this year that they could have been. But I understand why Nate decided not to be in competitive Call of Duty, which I could tell killed him inside. So, what are your guys' thoughts on where franchising is gonna go, depending on the game? Like, because League of Legends, I think the only issue that's happened is the Echo Fox thing, and that's like,
Yeah.
no one knows how that's gonna go. Thank God CS:GO never franchised. I actually heard a rumor about that, and I was like, that would be just tragic.
That would be tragic because a lot of towns just wouldn't be involved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
if we were wanting to talk about franchising, I think it's way too early to even call what game is going to be successful and what game's not going to be successful. Holiday, that one's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah. That's a
depending on
fair
what team.
point. That's definitely a fair point. For me,
Yeah.
like when the revenue stream came out of how much Overwatch League made in its first year, I considered that it was only successful because Twitch paid $40 million in year one to have the broadcast rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because had they not done that, there would have probably been a really bad negative balance sheet in the hands of Blizzard. There probably would have been. Like, I would just hate to be the person in, like, accounting having to be like, what in the world?
No, you see, when you get that back, that's when you're like, okay, I'm officially, here's my resignation. Bye. It's like, nope, I don't want to deal with this kind of debt. You're on your own.
Oh, yeah.
Work for Twitch or something.
No, Twitch is probably as bad as Blizzard or other developers. Because, like...
Twitch has been around the longest.
Twitch, though, is having, like, a really bad year.
Probably a really bad past 3 years.
I wouldn't say the last couple years. I think, like, Fortnite and some games have helped, again, like, Twitch stay alive. But the conversations of what's happened over the last couple months with, like, TF Blade, Alinity, a couple of the other streamers out there, it's like everyone's kind of like just looking for another anchor.
Yeah, Twitch is just taking all the hits right now. They're not even blocking or anything. They're just getting knocked back into their ropes.
Yeah, like it like
do something.
I don't even think they've banned Alinity to this day.
No, she still streams.
No.
I've actually seen one of her streams.
My God.
Yeah, yes.
I mean,
Okay.
alright.
Like, she seems like a nice person, and maybe she doesn't realize, like, certain things will set people off. But
I'm gonna make a very controversial comment right here.
go ahead.
All right.
Speak freely.
Yeah, she was stupid and she did the whole cat abuse and all of that.
Yeah.
But the only thing that she actually did to hurt the cat was toss it that one time.
Well, she also gave the cat vodka.
Vodka.
That's where people are wrong. She didn't give the cat vodka. She didn't force it down its throat. The cat licked it. There's a difference.
But there was-
Controversial comment.
But there were still,
Yeah.
like, the offer. Like, the cat wouldn't have had access
Yeah.
to the vodka if Alinity didn't directly put it
Yeah.
into the cat's. No. Let's move on because this goes down a fine line. Let's go back to like
Yeah.
the more broader topic.
Like,
Let's talk about Twitch's moderation period.
Yeah.
I think Twitch is honestly the best platform out there. I still think that, and after going
Yeah.
to other platforms and trying to stream on there, like I was talking to Tristan before the podcast,
Yeah.
honestly, Twitch is it's the best platform, not only for the streamer standpoint, but in a viewer standpoint.
Yeah.
It's super simple. Everything is just there in your face. The interface is great. But what I think that Twitch has in terms of problems is a political problem.
Yeah.
Their admins, their moderators, their staff, they're not taking, ethical issues seriously at the moment. And
Yeah.
if that doesn't change soon, we're going to be having more and more people going over
Yeah.
to platforms like Mixer, which is already happening.
Yeah.
Like Twitch is already right. Ninja's already left. He's taking a deal from Mixer. You have, smaller punches in the gut. Like, I think it's like Keemstar taking all of his streams from Twitch to Mixer.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I wouldn't really call that a small gut punch.
I definitely
pretty
wouldn't,
nasty hit.
because Twitch and YouTube have always had a really bad history with Keem. Like,
right.
Yeah.
that's the thing I know from starting in this community when Drama Alert first started.
He
Like,
was right there.
like he was, given there were other circumstances that people did with projects he was involved in, I know why YouTube has always been on his case. But like, the thing that always puzzled me is, for a very long time, how I knew like Keem was getting terminated on Twitch, terminated on YouTube, and was always coming back. I ended up finding out why, though, like a couple years ago. And this is another loophole in the YouTube terms of service, which I pray to God, like, this never happens to me. The Twitter got suspended.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That-
I remember that. It's like, you were very passionate, to say the least.
well, I mean, like, because I think of Awaken the same way Hex would of Optic. Like, it's a child. It's my thing. And, like, I didn't, it's a lapse in judgment because I didn't remember that Twitter put in the age limit rule.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's
yeah.
what got it locked and almost deactivated, was because it was like 1:30 in the morning, so maybe from now on, like, on anniversary or very special occasion days, I shouldn't be on my phone at midnight with, like, less than 4 hours of sleep. But
Right.
I decided, like, screw it. I'm going to change the age of the Twitter account to reflect when we were born. And didn't realize that was going to get us locked. And, like, luckily we got it fixed and dealt with it. And
What is the age limit for Twitter?
it's now 18.
That was pretty short. That was only
I can't stand
a
49ers.
7. That was about a 7 to 8 year span. You know what? All right. We're on an esports podcast.
Well, I mean,
Let's
yeah.
step away for a second, right?
Yeah,
But
like,
this is the sort of conversations that I want to have,
yeah.
like 10 to 20 years from now about esports. If franchising is going to work,
Yeah.
we need to look at it with like rose-tinted glasses, you know, thinking like, yo, remember when Boston invaded LA that one time and won? Like, I like what Overwatch is about to do right now
Yeah.
with the homestand series.
Oh, yeah.
How they're going to be having each and every city. I think other than the are the Asian teams going to have homestands?
Probably
Or
they
the European
will.
team's
Like,
going to have
Gen G is definitely going to be able because of their South Korean headquarters. And
No, I know. That's what I'm thinking though, because most of literally every team in the Overwatch League has the money to do so. I don't know if they're actually going to do it though. I don't know if it's planned.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna look at it first.
I would. For me, that's not even a question. Yes, because esports has always been big in Korea and those Asian countries. So for me, like, I expect that there's going to be homestead plays for South Korea for like Gen G or Shanghai. Shanghai, I don't know.
So it seems like there is a concise plan to have those homestand events at
APAC.
You know, these Asian venues.
Yeah.
Purely because they're actually going to separate. They're going to separate the league into divisions now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
so kind of how
so the Atlantic. I think it's going to be like the Atlantic, or no, I'm sorry, the Pacific Division.
Yeah.
Is going to be Guangzhou, Shanghai, Seoul, Hangzhou, and Chengdu. So that makes sense.
That would make sense
I
because
like that system. Like, and again, how I'm going to connect this back is like I want to see like cross-divisional, you know, games being rare. You know what I mean? And when they happen, it's actually a big occasion. Like this weekend right now, it is the Overwatch League Finals.
Yeah.
I just don't have interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, like I'm not interested. Like you see, like sometimes I forget who won the Overwatch League last year. You know what I mean? Of course, like, you know, once you actually start thinking about it, of course it's London.
Yeah.
But there are times that I can just be like, what? There was an Overwatch League Finals last year. Like this happened. Like it just doesn't catch my eye yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's some people who don't even know like
their homestand system right yet.
Yeah. There's some people who don't even know who the owners of certain like organizations are.
Like the orgs, yeah.
Like I brought up the other day that I was talking about Atlanta Reign in the Awaken chat, and Nathaniel was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Cox owns them," and he's like, "What's Cox?" I go, "The multi-billion-dollar TV and phone company."
Yeah.
Like,
all right, I'm gonna be completely honest with the whole Overwatch thing. The only way I even found out about any of the teams or the fact that they had a league was me playing the game itself.
Right.
Because it actually gave you all the team logos, all the teams. It gave you the power rankings and all of that.
Yeah.
When you
they advertise that. They do well with that.
Yeah.
Which
They do very, very good with how they market. Like, I especially believe that with how they did the branding for Toronto Defiant, like the announcement video. Like, I really liked how they did that one. Outlaws, obviously, like, there's no way that you can't like the Outlaws branding if you're in esports. The Spitfire, at first, I didn't understand, like, why they would go with that, but then, like, when I realized, like, the history behind it, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I think Noah Winston, when he was with Immortals, did a good job of explaining why they chose Valiant. There's a couple that I don't get, though, like, I mean, definitely NYXL. I didn't understand why they chose Excelsior as like the team name, nor the branding, but I mean that will have to grow on me, just a little bit. But I think for me, Overwatch is. It's tough for me. It's tough to give my thoughts on Overwatch because I'm so biased and riled. I wouldn't say riled, but more. What's the word? More. Betrayed by Blizzard and Overwatch.
Yeah.
How so?
Because of what they did to us in contenders that year before the league started.
True.
Playing, and I thought everything was good. I had a nonstop flight to Vegas, so that I meet up with one of our guys, and everything, who was playing for us at the time. And Nathaniel goes in the chat and says, "Hey, one of the other players deactivated." And I go, "What? Like, what the fuck do you mean he deactivated? Like, it's the day before the thing, and he's technically the one who owns the pass, because we picked him up, because at the time the passes went on sale, I was literally in a college class, or whatever. Right. So, you know, we were like, whatever happens, and, you know, the players kept trying to call the kid, like, every single day. All 5 of them really knew each other, or all 5 of the players we ended up playing with knew each other very well, had practiced with each other. And what had happened is I had talked to Spence, and, you know, he's like, well, we have to reach out to so-and-so player to figure things out and whatever. But if he doesn't respond in the morning, like, come find me, we'll allow you to play with a 5th, even if that person is on another team. So what happened was I made a, like, tweet that said, like, and of course I was fed up, because I was like, this player's not showing. Like, we didn't get any message, like, not even the players getting a message or a phone call back or anything from him. I said, like, you will pay for what you've done. And people who ironically have ran organizations that have done absolutely, like, horrible things to people, Upmind, I'm fine with saying this, but the guy who was spearheading hate against me at the time was one of the people in charge of Ozio's esports team.
Right, that completely went. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like.
The thing with. Okay, so before we start,
yeah,
you know, getting deeper into this topic, essentially beating a dead horse, essentially, because, like, trust me, I'm as mad as you are. I remember that weekend, like vividly, man. Like, it was.
I was at
I'm disheartened for you. You know what I mean? Because, like, seeing the progress that you guys need, like, seeing the squad that you guys actually put up, that was. It was actually scary.
Every squad that we've ever put up for Call of Duty typically does, like, is already very well known in the community, and then after the event and after they left the organization, they end up just blowing up. Kind of talk about content creation, because I think it's unique that all 3 of us sitting here are content creators. I think, like, it's sad because I feel like an old man being like, back in my day, we used to have this and this for content. Like, I started watching YouTube back in 2006, 2007, and, like, people don't remember the culture of content. Like, okay, I was there when Lonely Girl started. I was there when Annoying Orange started. I was there when Epic Rap Battles, FPS History, Epic Mealtime.
Before we keep going.
Yeah.
Epic Rap Battles, by the way.
They're still going.
Underrated. They are underrated.
They definitely are.
I love the rap battles. I was actually watching the rap battles last night too.
Yeah, they're definitely underrated.
Like, my God.
But-
Anyways, let's see. You said you were out during like 2006. That's when you first came out, right?
That's when. Well, I hadn't come out to like the gaming community until 2011, 2012. I had watched YouTube since the beginning, just like as a kid who was probably like 6 or 7 at the time. I didn't understand YouTube like as much as I do now, and even then, like, I don't understand the full scope of things when it comes to YouTube, nor do I play the tactics others use or have used in gaming. But for me, like, I enjoyed watching videos, and that was always my thing. And I always enjoyed, like, this was a escape from reality and whatever stress in my life was going on.
All right, so like you're providing the old streaming content, all that point of view.
Yeah.
Me recently, I started streaming back in like June of this year is when I actually officially started streaming.
Yeah. And then Upmind, how long have you been streaming?
I'm still learning new things about it, but the way the streaming content now is so different from how it used to be.
I mean, streaming barely existed. Like,
streaming,
first of all, the era of the beginning of YouTube, live streaming just wasn't a thing. The live streaming was restricted to, you know, cable TV channels doing, like, one-off broadcasts.
You had live streaming back then. You had, because there was Battle TV and there was Justin TV.
I was about to say, we had pirated streams on Justin.tv, and that was it. And
then you had Battle.net or whatever, because that's where the infamous Keemstar clip came from.
Right. Yeah.
But, like, and then I also think I give a different perspective on content because, like, most people, and I think I'm different, especially in esports and just content in general, because rather than having another producer making content for the org, like, sure, we have video editors, don't get me wrong, but like, the vision of what content for Awaken should always be has always lied and carried by me. Which I think is smart, because you have a content creator who's been also part of some of the biggest networks in the world and dealt with some of the biggest, like, companies in the world, managing the content. Like, such a foreign idea, people. Like, I'll see, like, people who've only been around for, like, a year or two max being content leads. And I'm like, what's your plan for YouTube? And they go, oh, we just focus on Twitch. And I'm like...
I was going to say, all right, yeah, I would be okay with being a, like, lead streamer, lead content creator.
No, they put them in charge of the entire content department.
Nah, I would rather have... No, I would prefer to be, like, a co-lead. That way, someone that's more experienced than me, they can always bounce off ideas with me, and that way I can find ways to improve how I'm doing. Like, I don't like doing stuff on my own because I don't know a lot.
Yes. Like, you're fairly new to things, and so there's only so much that you will be able on your own to know unless you work with others. And that's one of the things that, like, is vastly different from, like, back when I started. Like, you could just magically pop up and become the next, like, X-Jaws or something.
Yeah, the next big thing,
I mean, you probably still could, but it's more those channels that are, like, lifestyled or, like, that, whatever that girl's name is that recently blew up on YouTube. What is her name?
It depends, because there's been a lot of females.
No, it's like it's someone Philip DeFranco just did a conversation with type video. It was that girl who, like, out of nowhere blew extremely up and only had, like, 2 videos.
The girl with, like, the van?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So...
Gotcha.
I don't remember her... What was her...
I don't...
Janelle Elena. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, YouTube. I see YouTube as a bigger pool of viewership.
Yeah.
Like the viewers that you get on Twitch, like there is a certain, I guess you could say, ratio, in terms of YouTube viewers to Twitch viewers.
Yeah.
And almost always those YouTube viewers, not almost always. Always.
Yeah.
The YouTube viewers are going to outweigh the Twitch viewers because
exactly.
Holy shit! Like you're not going to get on a regular person stream some random ass dude starting out. You're not going to get him getting like 8,000 views like concurrent.
Views don't matter as long as someone's watching the content. And like now I'm like, when I was getting 100, 200 views a video or more, I was like, I'm freaking hype. Like, let's go. People are watching this. And then when I got sunk deeper than the freaking Titanic, I was like, this is kind of upsetting, but I'm still going to make content. Like, no matter how many people watch it. And, like, people will always be like, oh, you get 10, 12 views, maybe a video or something, you know. And, like, I don't make money off the videos. I can make money off of, like, sponsorships, brand deals, between myself and Awaken, and that's how I can support sometimes like extra money on the side from, you know, my other jobs like at Spark and retail and whatever. But, you know, like most people don't realize like I do not care about the views anymore. I care about like I don't care about the number of views. I care about if people are just watching. Like if people are just watching or leaving a like, I'm okay with that. Because
like you care more about interaction than the
like
numbers.
I care more about interaction, and if it's like if I can go into analytics and see like someone took a minute and a half or maybe 2.5 minutes to sometimes deal with my annoying yelling self when playing a Call of Duty game, I'm okay with it.
Right.
You know, like when people freaking watch 25 minutes of the Death Shot series on Awaken, I'm like, that is amazing. That's just an estimation. I've never looked at the analytics on the Death Shot ones. I know those get like 100, 200 views, so I'm never like, oh, like what am I worried about? Like, because those videos breach double the minimum limit for like to get recognized.
I'm going to say something since I am a newer streamer. No, I'm sorry if I was cutting you off. I wasn't.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No, that's totally fine. Go for it.
So with me being a new streamer, this is something I've been dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
Lately. The numbers don't matter. Because, I mean, I pay attention to the numbers. And sometimes I get a little disheartened when some streams I have upwards of 20, 25 people.
And then the next day you have like 5 or 6.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Right.
The thing that I've seen, there's this actually one stream. Happy. It was like a 10-hour stream I did.
Yeah.
It was like 3 a.m. in the morning at my time. One that was in England. And he was like, you know, I'm just watching you while I'm at work right now. I have you like pulled up on my screen. I'm hearing you play this game and all of that. And they're just telling me this. I'm just like, wow, people are really taking the time out of their day to play a game.
See,
even though the numbers I don't get a lot, it's just those people that make me want to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing that I think I'm really good with content is video production and like content series, because you guys have definitely seen that with the Death Shot stuff. Like I'm getting better and better and better and more like conscious of what I do with like B-roll footage, telling a story, or trying to put clips in there. And then the cryptic series I'm working on, and I'm sure both of you guys have seen this on my Twitter over the last couple of months. I'm doing a really good job with that. And the series, it's going to blow your minds. I can actually talk about it because these are the only things I've told, or not proven, but I've told myself I will publicly say. is this series is going to be a mix between like a dark action cult, The Matrix, or not The Matrix, but more like Total Recall, if you've seen that movie, and then mixed with a little bit of hint of the real like CIA mind control type shit. Like,
That's crazy.
Like, that's like, you guys remember the heads up displays I put in the chat last night or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those I'm actually possibly using for the show as well. Like, and then every video in the blog series is going to end by saying transmission offline. And you'll find out, like, why that is towards the end of it, hopefully. I'm doing this, like, as a one-character arc for now, and then an offline, like, text-to-voice, like, old-school computer software type thing.
Nice.
Playing an off-screen, like, behind-the-camera type, or, you know, behind-the-scenes type character, which I think is going to work, like, very well. There's actually an episode I've done based off the mind control and one other aspect of the show where I actually have a psychotic break.
Oh.
Like, the script for that, like, I actually shared it with someone who was a theater major, and they're like, we need to never give you a pen and paper again because your ideas are too good and scary. I was like, yeah. I was like, and they asked me, like, when I came up with this idea of the script, or when I, like, started scripting everything, and I was like, about 2:45 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday.
Yes.
And they're like...
All right, I'm going to be the first to admit this. People have their best ideas at freaking 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay?
Night owls, dude.
Like, I'd rather
Yeah,
come up
you're
with my
just-
best ideas at, like, 2 a.m. in the morning than act upon something at 2 p.m. in the afternoon.
I mean, that's a psychological thing. Like that's real. Like night owls exist. Like if
Yeah.
if you are used to waking up like super late, like usually your peak time, like your peak mental time would be at around like 11, 12, 1 a.m. So like you're not wrong, man. Like that's
I definitely see that with my dad, because of him being in the military, like working crazy like 14 to 18 hour work shifts, and like now he works for like he has the night shift at the airplane company he works at, where he does like maintenance and everything on like crazy $10-20 million jets. That's the most I will say about that, but like, there's times where he doesn't get up till, like, 11 or, like, noon and has to be at work by, like, 3.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see him come home at 3 a.m. in the morning when I'm downstairs, like, making breakfast or something, and he'll be like, go to bed. I'm like, no. Like, I'm good.
Nah, man. Alright, so...
But
I actually was watching this video that was talking about how the human mind works and all that.
okay.
The people that take to, like, for example,
Yeah.
if they want to pitch an idea and they take a little longer to think about it.
Yeah. Someone will already have had that idea by the time you go to pitch it.
The thing is, that's why you don't procrastinate for a long time, because like let's say you wanted to pitch an idea about a game company, but you have to come up with a name and all that.
Yeah.
If you come up with a name straight off the bat, you're gonna be like thinking of a name that's already been taken.
Yeah.
Wait for that crucial time.
Yeah.
It's like come up with an original name, and then there's the times where you're always too late. But that kind of applies with anything that happens now.
Yeah. For me, like, when I was making my show, I had an idea of what I wanted to name it, and then a friend of mine who does, like, he self-taught himself law, and especially in, like, trademark law and stuff, and was like, well, you could technically trademark something that's, like, no longer in existence, and it would work. And that's why, like, Optic has 3 different trademarks, right? And so the guys who created Lonely Girl, which if you guys ever want me to talk about that, feel free to tell me, because that's an interesting, just like nice old piece of YouTube history, and I always try to talk about it once through a podcast.
Right.
But essentially, when the creators of that show made a production company, they apparently had the idea of doing something for a band that was a series called The Discovered. And I was like, that sounds like a really good name. And because the company hasn't existed since 2012, and the trademark was dead, like pronounced dead by the USPTO a couple of years ago, I was like, I could probably trademark that and turn that into the show name.
Yeah.
Like, and that again would fit into the whole vibe of the show. Personally, right now, like, I just have it running under the name of The Resistance, but like that's because until the actual show like goes up, and I'm like still figuring if I want to do like the old school like random name generator type channel names and whatever, and then brand from there, that then it will work out. And I think I even have some like crazy ideas for how to do that story, because it's like an ARG in a way. And I thought, well, YouTube doesn't have annotations anymore, or they might, but it's very limited. A friend of mine came to me with a suggestion, like, why don't you put the puzzle, like some puzzles or clues in like into uploaded links, and then put those links into the tags of the video.
Yeah.
So
Dude, you should. I mean, for this, man, you're starting to get super deep, man. You wanna say some surprises for the actual project?
Do you know me to be anything more than deep and committed in any project that I do? The only thing I probably have.
You should make a Twitter thread more than anything.
Yeah, you really should.
Just like a whole like prologue Twitter thread, like
oh my God.
just a whole prologue Twitter thread, like in the year 1960, the CIA did mind control. However, in 2013, like that's actually something I've done on the Resistance Twitter. I wanted to have an episode linked back to the Lonely Girl mythology. So, and this is where I have to explain Lonely Girl. So, have either of you heard of Lonely Girl 15?
Well, are we about to go down that line? Anything I would I mean, you should honestly make a YouTube video about all this, like a behind the scenes really type look. Instead of putting this on this podcast, you should make like one really clear and concise YouTube video.
I would, but there's others who have definitely done a better job, and there's also like some factors, like internally and externally, as to why I probably can't or shouldn't. And it's also that just there's other YouTubers who have probably done a better job and have like, even though I've watched it since day one, probably have a better knowledge of everything, because like so the way Lonely Girl started out was it was perceived as the video blog of a girl named Bree who was 16 years old. Obviously in real life we know that wasn't the case. But what happened was these video blogs were at the time when like you could go out, buy a webcam, blah blah blah, and make a nice little video. So what happened was that it was these three guys, Miles, Mesh, and Greg. One of the guys, Greg, is actually like a talent executive at UTA now, which I highly respect them. Okay. I think his wife, at the time they were making Lonely Girl, worked for CAA as well. So, no joke. But essentially, the way that the show was built was that this girl has a secret and no one knows about it. And there's one episode where they like panned out into like a shelf in her room that has like a bunch of Crowley artifacts and like photos of Aleister Crowley, right? Big cult, religious guy, I guess, right? And so the way that the show is placed is that there's an evil order out there that hunts down these girls who have like a special trait in their blood that through blood transfusion allows people to live forever. And so essentially, like, it started with Bree and this one character named Daniel, who I know the actor who played him. I've actually talked to him privately about some things, and that's why it's probably in best interest for one of those things not to talk about. But what happened was they turned it into a multi-character story and multiple different like channels throughout YouTube of because like how you used to be able to do response videos back in the day on YouTube, they would have like film, like they would literally just have like multiple characters doing videos and everything, and there's like 500 plus episodes between all of them, and you'd have to go find like every single one of the channels. There's a list on the like official show blog or forum or whatever, or the Showpedia, I think it is, and whatever for that specific show that the creators made, where it lists every one of the channels. But essentially, that girl Bree gets killed in the ceremony, which is again really just blood transfusion, blah blah blah. And they continue fighting on in like her memory, blah blah, blah blah blah. And they launched a European spin-off called Cape Modern at the same time, which was based around the same mythology franchise, whatever, right? That was very successful. That was actually on Bebo before Bebo became a gaming channel or a gaming platform. Okay, so when that happened, when 2008 hit, they ended the show off, both of the shows off. Lonely Girl had again like 550 episodes across, I want to say, God, maybe a dozen different channels. The Lonely Girl channel. There's a couple of other characters, like I said. There probably was like 10, 12 characters. And then they did a continuation of the original franchise in September 2008. Ran it to December. Recession hit. They didn't want to do it anymore, so then they did 2 fan spin-offs and then let it die off. And then they tried to do something in 2016 where they revealed like Bree isn't dead. But then like they made a small ARG to show like where through like puzzles, clues, and other videos to show like where characters, good or bad, have ended up over the years. And they ended it, even though the channel gets like still to this day like 1,000 subs a month, 100,000 views a month, nothing.
So how does this? So this is
the old days of YouTube.
Going to connect back. This is going to connect back to your project now.
Yes.
Okay.
Because originally I wanted to do this as I wanted to do it. I had a storyline idea for how I wanted to do my show as an official one, right? But the creator never got back to me. He never even got back to the actor who I know about trying to buy the rights to one of the channels to do a similar story. So that's whatever. But I already had like 2 options. The one where it's the official one, or one where I do my own thing, similar ARG, but tweak the format and, the elements. So the way it is that the evil cult created like a drug company to research like this, trait positive gene, blah, blah, blah. Well, what I did is based off the revival that they did, they showed that the evil company had been indicted in an embezzlement scheme. So the way I have it planned out for this episode, and I will talk about this because it's already in an image on the Resistance Twitter, is that company ended up getting bought. All their assets were bought, and then bought by another company who is secretly still doing all the same stuff. But that's where the CIA, like, mind control, simulation type shit fits into place. So it connect. It's like a one. It's its own series. It's its own franchise, but it pays tribute in only one episode to that old franchise, to the Lonely Girl franchise, which I think is a nice tribute. If that makes so, it's a very complex storyline.
I see that,
Yeah.
man. You went on for.
Like-
Is that whole thing gonna be in the podcast?
What probably.
Your entire. Oh my god, dude! You
I-
went on. You're like
I-
you're a living encyclopedia for your own project, man. I like holy shit.
Like literally when
I
people.
was just listening and I'm like,
I'm an
like,
encyclopedia
when this is
of
actually
everything
supposed to be
good, bad, or
This is esports.
well, it's content, esports, gaming, anything like
Okay.
like that's
Oh.
like
But, okay,
I'm
no,
an
but
encyclopedia
I'm glad,
of
though.
all
I'm glad.
things good, bad, or like intriguing in this world. Like literally, when players who have been scammed in esports come to me and they're like, "We know how or we hated this situation with our previous org," I have to give them the whole spiel about how I exposed Carbon 6 and engaged and accelerate before anybody else did, like, so that they get the picture that I know what.
So you like to go on like I guess I'm not gonna say rants, but you like to go on tangents in a way.
I definitely will agree that I do, but it's like I feel like when I go on those like those like rants or like tangent long conversations, it's because like you have to understand the full context of everything, and even with 1% missing, you could lose the entire idea of the storyline or the entire idea of a certain pitch, and that's the thing that like. I'm definitely guilty of it. Like, in conversations, I would give someone, like, the full, like, recap of the day, and my parents are like, just sum it up. And I'm like, that ruins everything.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
that was like a 20-minute rant.
It definitely wasn't 20
dude.
minutes. It was like
Holy
5.
crap.
It was probably like 5 or 10.
You know what? I'm glad, bro. But
Yeah.
let's keep moving on.
Yeah,
though.
let's keep moving on.
Let's kind of wrap up some stuff. So, what's happening this weekend? What's happening this upcoming weekend? What are you guys interested in? That's current events wise. Let's go
So
around.
this week in history, the new Star Set album came out, and I'm like really hyped about it.
Nice.
Because the way have you listened? I'm pretty sure most gamers have listened to Star Set at least once in their life.
At least at one point in their life they've listened.
But
to it.
the new album goes back to the original album in that book they made, the Prox Transmissions, where Star Set's one of those other things that it's a complex backstory because they're cinematic rock with concept albums. But essentially, they created a body machine interface story that this futuristic company has created, which helps like people have like a better sense of reality and better like lifestyle, but it also ends up controlling them in the end. And there's this whole system in the future, and essentially this goes back like years. Like this goes back even to the Vessels album they made 2 years ago, and some of the marketing they're doing. They wiped all the social media pages, except for like Twitter on like certain instances. And then, they have Starset as kind of like this, as, I wouldn't say like a resistance, but more of like rebel type against everything that still has always gone on in that storyline with Starset and the order that they call.
So this is something that came out at what time?
2013. The album came out Friday.
Okay, so it came out Friday. All
But
right,
they've been doing all the narrative like setting up for the album stuff since May. And so
nice.
then they did a whole They've done like a whole bunch of transmissions on their like website and on the Twitter page as well, where they clearly show the storyline being built. And then like you can see that through the music videos as well, that there's like a rebellion, and Starset is not in the rebellion or the resistance, but kind of like you get the vibe that they're on their own against this futuristic company and the Order and whatever. And then they find out like the creator of the Starset Society in the present sense created, or what is the one who, or sorry, the creator of the Starset Society in present tense. We find out actually somehow in the future turns on the society or on Starset and the society possibly, and creates what the BMIs are, or that's a theory that's been said in the Discord. But it's very interesting, and the concept albums, like I actually posted something on Facebook about how all the songs connect into that storyline, and so you have to listen to the songs maybe in that order.
Yeah.
But it's literally like, this is insane. Like when I talk about how good they're doing with marketing, when they came out with vinyls like a year or two ago for the Vessels album, they apparently stuck an NFC chip into the vinyl packaging and built a website that has a video playing with like cell phone beeps and everything when you're dialing a number. And when they were teasing songs for this now released album, you could call that number based off the beeps. It would give you the phone number which was the phone number for the Starset Society, and they'd say, like, we're gonna put you on hold for a second, and then they would start playing a teaser of the song from the album.
Nice.
Jeez.
So literally, like, I give them credit because, like, it's insane. The guy Dustin, who is the lead singer, was a lead singer for Downplay, has a side project where he sings from the perspective of a AI AI program, breaking free from its creators, and we found out that even the company supposedly in storyline who created that AI is actually tied to the same order that goes against Starset. Like, that's how good this whole arc that they have is, and I love it. I love it. So
I'm just gonna sideswipe this since we're supposed to be back on esports. But,
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, like, what are you interested in this week, Castaway? What is something that either happened this past week, or something that's gonna happen this week that you're interested in?
Well, I mean, I know Borderlands 3 just dropped earlier this week. Yeah, I'm just like, I can't wait to see how that goes.
Have you?
So, I mean,
are you getting it, or are you just trying to keep up with things that are going on?
I'm thinking about it because I've played Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, and I've played all of them.
Yeah.
I loved all of them.
Nice.
So if 3 lives up to the name, it looks like it will, because it looks like it's adding a whole, like, new cast to combat the old cast.
Yeah. So the thing with Borderlands right now is that, like, I haven't exactly been, like, too interested.
Yeah.
Like, in the game. Like, I would start it, and then I would slowly, like, lose interest. So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting, like, mentality in my head. But, like, my roommate, he's
diehard Borderlands
into Borderlands 3, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. But this weekend specifically, something that I think some people would be interested in is what just happened this past weekend. Not this past weekend. The past couple of days, which was Blast Pro Series Moscow, which is essentially the first tournament after the first major tournament after the Star Ladder major that happened last weekend, that Astralis won.
Please tell me Astralis is not playing in the Blast Pro.
Yeah, and this weekend is honestly super interesting to me because in the finals, I mean, we had MIBR, NIP, a Vanguard, Fours. I mean, 3 out of those 4 teams didn't even make it into the playoffs of, didn't even make it into the playoffs of the major, and they got the top 4 spots at this tournament. And then a Vanguard, of course, they make it to the finals, and they kind of make it like pretty close against Forza. They didn't end up winning a Vanguard, but I don't know. It's things like that that gets me thinking more and more about esports and the current climate of it, how unpredictable it can be. You know what I mean? With just small changes. Like last week, MIBR, they were playing, well, not last week, 2 weeks ago, MIBR, they were playing with their coach.
Yeah.
And literally this past weekend, they negotiated and contracted KNG, another Brazilian player from Esports. Came on first weekend. And yes, KNG is that Immortals player.
Because I was about to bring that up. Like, Noah, Winston, and Arya said they would never, ever pick him up again for an Immortals roster. I remember that video.
Let me explain to you why. Leaving.
So yeah, because they said we won't play for Immortals unless we have KNG, and there was already that contract detriment because you've already brought bad publicity. They I believe they tried to get him on a call, and he didn't want to be on the call or anything or whatever. So then they put him on the bench, and then they said, well, you know, we have to have him in, and then played him, and then Noah did the move, which I respect. Because, like, even giving him the chance afterwards to be like, we want you still on this roster, like, you just need to serve a punishment, then...
Right.
But I understand why why Noah did that. I personally... I still wish Noah was in Immortals to this day because...
Right, but this situation goes a little bit deeper now because we start getting into post exit from Immortals.
Okay.
In the statement that Noah Winston dropped, you probably watch it, Tristan. That's really most of what that's most information that everyone gets out of.
The most information I probably ever got out of this situation was the video uploaded to YouTube.
Right, and so KNG was then kicked. He was essentially blacklisted from the Immortals organization, from Noah Winston in that video, saying that KNG will never be in an Immortals shirt ever again.
Yes.
But the thing with that is Noah Winston isn't a part of Immortals anymore. He left.
He actually didn't leave. Yeah. I was about to say, he didn't leave. He got transferred to executive chairman. And then got knocked out when the equity thing happened.
Right, and then...
Or something like that. Because here's what I know. Here's the timeline I know of Noah leaving, okay? Was... What day was it? Because there's a video on the LA Valiant channel. And this is close to the time I pieced together when he left. Okay?
We'll find that because that's a whole different thing.
Well,
now we go back to KNG and his time. Like you can interrupt whenever you find it, but KNG then went on a pretty much a recovery tour where he had to go down to like the bottom tier of Brazilian CS, where he had to essentially prove himself one more time that he had what it took. He jumped around from roster to roster. He tried out for LG. LG wasn't in a good spot at the time, so in return, KNG didn't perform at the time, so he left. And then KNG then ended up falling on a spot in INTS Esports. And INTS miraculously actually made a really, really good run, not only at this major, but for the past year, they've been making their strides in not only the Brazilian scene, but the NA scene.
Yeah.
And MIBR, fortunately, I would say for KNG, Cold Zera just left. And there's not a lot of Brazilian free agents out there. It just simply doesn't exist. With Furia just signing their players to 5-year contracts off of Nike money. Like, I'm serious. Like, Nike sponsoring Furia and Furia using that money to keep their players for another, I think, like 5-year contract, something of the sort.
Okay,
And then
I found the time frame.
Now they're forced into going into other teams, and that led them to picking up KNG. And that led into this weekend them getting top 4 at Blast Pro.
Yeah. And Blast Pro is a.
So let's hear. So when did Noah leave?
So the first video I found was February 2nd. That's like the last public video you can find in Noah. There's something from Inven Global, which I'm pretty sure happened was when they got the 30 million. And it links to ESPN article. So let me see if that's the same thing here. If that same information is in this as well, because that's what I want to know, is if that would be the same process here. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, here's what happened. So yeah, it was after they got the $30 million. It was after the $30 million that he stepped down from his role as executive chairman, which he was given in December of 2018.
Yeah,
and then he declined to comment on his departure. Now since they said like, oh, he's a significant holder of company stock, but no longer with the company, and that's what Noah's recent tweet about wanting to come out and be held accountable for certain things, or however it was, or what.
Yeah, he is, the founder.
Yeah.
Of the organization.
I've never had an issue with Noah, like personally. I have high respect for him.
Right.
I think whatever he's working on is like WinBest or whatever. But he came out one day.
Yeah, WinBest.
He came out and said, God, when was it? I'm trying to find the tweet. August 24th, he said, like, now that I've taken some time away, I'm thinking about blogging a bit regarding founding Immortals, the journey, stepping back, and what's next. This is my accountability tweet. I have my ideas as to why he left, because I could see that, like, they picked up, like, MIBR and the Valiant was okay, but definitely there was, like, I think, I don't want to speak for Noah because I feel like that would be dickish. But the way I look at it is like once the 30 million came in from Lionsgate, AEG, Steve Kaplan, definitely Meg Whitman, right? Like I think once that happened, he understood like my days are numbered. Maybe.
Yeah. I guess. So yeah, I mean Noah definitely.
I would have loved if like him, Rick Fox, Hex all made an org. Cause imagine.
That would be huge, but it's Noah's gone on to other ventures.
Yeah. And Rick Fox is still dealing with.
He's fine. Echo Fox is fine. I think at the moment they still have to deal with, if I'm not mistaken, they already dealt with their investor because no, they haven't. Wow. Okay, so that's
here's the reason why is because so they tried, and Rick Fox talked about this. He actually tried to get the investor out because the way the investor wanted out was he wanted to sell his shares to his like brother or someone else that he entrusted. Mm-hmm. Riot blocked that. They said, we don't want anyone in the company that is associated with this guy having any, it's not even like 0.001%.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And Rick Fox has done a very good point of saying this. Unfortunately, being racist is not a crime. It may be morally a crime or ethically in a professional aspect, but there's also other things that have come out over time, which I'm not going to speak on because I haven't dug enough into them, nor do I wish to. But from what I understand, that shareholder, that investor, acted as the general partner among the people investing in Echo Fox, and then said, which there's definitely a discrepancy of what is being told, like the narrative that's being told, where the investor who is doing all this is saying, well, all the investors and all the general partners want Rick gone, whereas, like, Rick is saying, and I'm more inclined to believe Rick, because why would you believe someone who's racist and supposedly as well has scummed his way out of business ventures in the past, and Rick Fox, like, as a, you know, as a true champion and, you know, figure of this industry, has come out and said, like, he will go, that shareholder will go to supposedly any publication that will write the stuff without doing necessarily all the stuff. That's why you see it in, like, Hollywood Life or the Hollywood Reporter or whatever it is. And I literally, like, within an hour of seeing it, I tweeted, like, you don't think that this guy could make him say something gossip-like, and immediately they'd post it? Like, what the hell is TMZ? You know?
Right.
So,
right.
That's how I look at it, but no. They're far from done, because I believe there's lawsuits involved. And they, like, the shareholder who, and I'm not naming him, because he already has gotten enough undeserved attention, because he doesn't deserve it, supposedly said, well, he's not doing, or Rick isn't doing his fiduciary duty or something like that, and isn't acting in the best practice of the investors by not being able to close the Kroenke deal for the slot, which even then, like, that's a whole nother thing, given the joint agreement that KSE has with Sentinels. And I'm like baffled, but no, he's still in that guy's still in Echo Fox to my knowledge.
Right, to our knowledge.
It would literally take probably an out of court settlement or going to actual court and having a judge and a jury in, like, a circuit court ruling of unfair business practice by so forth or so forth. Cool.
All right. That's a pretty good summary of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Anything else you wanted to plug, Tristan?
I'm trying to. I have a bunch of ideas running through my head, and I'm, like, trying to think which is the good one, which is, like,
Speaking of Sentinel, can we just talk about the fact that Boogle, or however you say his name?
Yeah, Boogo, yeah.
He won the Fortnite.
He won $3 million and didn't even get, like, half of that. He got, like...
Yeah.
He got
maybe 1.5.
No.
I think...
No. Because... No, he took home, like, $1 million or even less than that. Because the way it works is... Sentinels takes 20% of his...
Well, yeah. Sentinel takes a cut, and then New York takes a cut.
New York and then the federal government. And
they all took giant cuts off.
Let me see, because I actually remember what the amount was. I have it saved, actually, in...
other than that, man, I mean, it's starting to get late. I didn't expect this actually to go too late. I actually have work in, like, 25 minutes. Right, so I'm gonna go get ready, man. But I'm gonna cut at least my part a little bit early. I wanted to thank you, Tristan, for letting me come on. It definitely was a very interesting, conversation. Having topics just like going all over the place. I kind of like that, dude. Yeah. So thank you.
There's
Castaway.
no structure to it.
Thank you, dude. You're actually super cool, dude. Lots of ambition. Appreciate everything, dude. And other than that, follow me on Twitter at the Upmind. And I'm out of here. Thanks, Tristan.
All right.
Man.
Castaway, do you want to keep doing the podcast then, or?
I'm down.
I don't have to do anything for a while. So neither do I. I can literally, like, like I have a video ready to export whenever I want to. Like it's just sitting there, because I didn't want to crash like Streamlabs or crash Discord or something else. But I don't have. That's the fun thing. I don't have to upload whenever like I want, or I don't have to upload on a schedule anymore. I can just schedule it ahead of time. But I guess as far as it goes from now, like, what do you want to talk about? Like, content, gaming, picking my thoughts on a certain thing. Like, what do you want to do?
Maybe talk about the future of everything, like where everything can go.
In terms of, in terms of Awaken or in general for things.
In general, especially Awaken with me now.
Yeah.
Being a part of Awaken, I'm just like, being Awaken honestly, because I know your history, and I'm just like, I can't wait to get my name out there and do something to change like a little bit of esports. So I mean, I will admit this, I was one of those people that were like, man, I want to get into esports because of Optic. Optic Gaming was like, I ever watched, and it was the very first team that to like gaming, like the competitive side. I've watched E United, I've watched 100 Thieves, I've watched. I'm trying to remember all of them. There was another team that was just like Optic, but I think they ended.
What time frame are you talking about? Like 2000.
It was around the same time frame that Optic started.
Okay, so 2009. 2000. Yeah. Well, 2006 is when Optic started. 2009 is when they went into competitive.
Yeah.
There was Optic, Envy, FaZe. Complexity hadn't gone into Call of Duty at that point in time.
I can tell you this. I remember the jersey colors.
What were they?
Black and blue.
No, that was Envy then.
Was it Envy?
Yeah. Envy's always had black and blue. Yeah.
Team that was out just a little bit, maybe before or maybe a little bit after Optic.
Yeah.
And
that was Envy, because Envy was made a couple months before Optic would have been made.
Okay. Because I was going to say, those were the two teams I watched, and those were the two teams I grew up with.
Yeah.
I just didn't remember Envy's name. I was like,
I grew up in gaming watching Optic, a couple of the pub stomping channels that were going around at the time, and then FaZe was there as like a snipe, like FaZe and Obey. FaZe, Soar, and Obey have always held their own in sniping. No matter what anyone wants to say, like Soar will never stop doing sniping. Obey, thank God they got out from Infinite and Immortals. Oh my God. Give me a second, because I gotta use the restroom. I'm literally feeling the 3 cans of Mountain Dew now. Like, it's just gut punching me. Oh, fuck. That was about the worst pain I've ever had to hold in for 20 minutes inside a broken collarbone. Like, literally, I'm just sitting there, like, shaking my leg and jittering, and then, like, all of a sudden, I just start feeling, like, a punch in my gut, and I'm like, damn. And, like, I didn't want to just get up and leave, because it would have been in the podcast, so I was like, I'll cut this out of it too when I watch it. I'll just have to watch like the entire thing, which isn't bad. But no, Envy was black and blue. Optic was originally green, white, and a little bit of black in the jerseys. FaZe,
It's red and black.
Yeah.
They were red, black, and white.
Yeah. And then...
Yeah, I went up for all three jerseys.
Yeah.
Optic used to be more green than anything.
Optics, well, yeah, because there's... I think it was 2010 MOG Columbus, the birth of the green wall, literally. Because Hex has talked about it, where the crowd for Optic at that point was so strong, it was like a green wall.
Yeah, that's the reason why we were called Green Wall. It's because of the fans.
I think I've done a very good point of, like, with Awaken, right? Like, I can call it Awaken, even though the actual name is Awaken Militia. But, like, compared to other organizations that have, like, different hashtags for their stuff, literally, our hashtag is the org's name. Like...
Awaken, yeah.
Well, it's in all the tweets, it's hashtag Awaken Militia. Like...
Yeah.
Like, that's why I think... And that's another thing, like, we'll never rebrand the logo. Never. I will keep this mascot logo for 20 years if I have to. I will never get rid of it. Like,
I'm hoping to stay with this team, even if I...
Minus the walls. I got my champ whites a couple days ago. And
I sadly could not.
You know they put them on sale till I said... They put them back on sale until I said something.
Oh.
Because I was going through the Optic Twitter, or I was going through the Optic website looking for something, and I happened to see them on there. And I was able to actually save one into my cart. And I said, how are these limited if y'all are actually selling them? And then minutes later, gone from the site. It was still in my cart, too.
Jeez. But, yeah.
So...
Optic forever will always be a fan. Watch out for me in the future. Watch out for Awaken. Don't sleep on anybody.
Watch out for the fire merch we have coming in less than a couple weeks, I guess.
Yeah, 2020 is going to be our year, definitely, with Modern Warfare coming back.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy they put the minimap back in for now. For now.
To be honest, I was watching the trick shots like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And it looks... Honestly, it reminds me of the old days, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because that means there's going to be another team like Optic and FaZe to come out.
Probably not.
Optic
and FaZe were in a league of their own, and no one could, like... Everything that's been done in sniping or pub stomping or in competitive videos has been done.
Yeah.
It's all just continuous cycle at this point. But yeah, guys, so again, this is the Ambition Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan. Most of you, again, know me as Taze. Hopefully, I will have this up by Monday or Friday at the latest. But that depends on how things go, because I still have other episodes to upload here on the podcast. That's another running joke of how late things can be when you're running multiple different things and still having to have a social life of doing things. But with that being said, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.